by tradition.
Hold
And that
tight.
is hold tight the 3-point collectors.
Next thing, Tottenham are whipping boys for Liverpool. You lot ain't beat us in how long? So look at your face. So when I
I'm about to run.
They forget about when the council is going to take the fridge.
Oh, for real? When there was a little car park out front. Let's talk about sex, baby.
Let's hold
Liverpool. And as much as we can talk about Mane is a good player, Salah's a good player, they're just not the X factor, bro. Don't forget about it.
Welcome back to another episode of Stoppage Time TV. We're live in the flesh, live and direct in effect. You already know what time it is. How are we doing, boys? We good?
All good, bro.
What was it? Travis Scott in the building. Fresh trim and that. Culture Cams, myself, Myra. You already know what time it is. You already know what you're here for. But before we go forward, hold tight the sponsor. 20% off STTV. Also free delivery as well. Like we always say, Christmas is coming. It's not just for men, it's for women as well. Look after yourself. Don't smell. Don't be dusty. All of that type of stuff. Now that we've got through that and you've heard it week after week after week and know what to do, let's get into the main proceedings. There are no 3-point collectors in the room, but still, hold tight the 3-point collectors wherever you are.
Hold tight.
We definitely need to touch on West Ham in some capacity. They're like probably the big 3-point collector this week. Hold tight the participants. If you participated this weekend, hold tight you. Did your thing. Hold tight the teams that are losing city derbies. Hold tight the managers that are getting sacked. Hold tight the managers that are getting sacked after winning. Hold tight the managers that are not getting sacked even though they should be sacked. Hold tight the pundits that are looking after their friends.
Hold tight.
There's a few. It's a lot of hype, but let's start with the derby. I don't want to spend too much on the game because we know what the game was. There's not much to take away from the game. Well, there might be, to be fair, but as a United fan right now, with everything that's happened over the weekend, I don't want to talk about pre-sex.
I'm a football fan.
You're not a United fan?
I'm a football fan.
Okay, sorry. My apologies.
Hey, this is the levels we hit now.
First and foremost, I'm a football fan.
You know that?
I love this.
Do you remember the Jimmy Bullard thing? Football's the one.
Football fan, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, football
You
first.
don't address Shannon Sharp as the Broncos fan. Shannon Sharp.
The football man.
You don't address Skip Bayless as the Spurs man, do you?
The Dallas Cowboys guy.
Yeah.
You kind of do, you know.
I'm just.
There's always
football fan.
associated
Alright,
with
cool.
something.
Analyst.
As a football analyst with an inclination towards Manchester United, with everything that happened on the weekend, where's your headspace right now? And I say that because I don't want to. You know, a lot of times people just come and they just regurgitate what they've said before and stuff like that. We try not to do that. Like there's conversation we need to get into, but first and foremost, how are you feeling with where everything is at the moment?
I mean, no different to how I was feeling. It's from the start of the season, or from Liverpool, or from anything like that. So, listen, it was always going to be a loss against Man City. There was never going to be a different result. I saw the 3-5-2. I tweeted before the game the day before. I said if Man United go for a 3-5-2, they won't win either way with whatever formation they play. But you have a more chance of winning if you do go for the back four, because when you look at when City, as I said, the only constant in Pep's careers, if you're talking about failures, is counter-attacking teams. No matter what team he is at, because he dominates the ball, as soon as you get it, you have to break.
Yeah.
And Man United's best ever performance under Oli against Pep was with Martial, Dan James, and Rashford up front. When you get Cristiano Ronaldo in, your counter threat goes. When you go for the two up top, that means you only have one outlet, who would have been, I thought it was going to be Rashford, ends up being Greenwood, which hasn't got as much pace as Rashford anyway. So there's no outlet, there's no counter threat. And once Pep Guardiola teams understand that you can't counter them, pure suffocation,
But
pure dominance.
On the other side of that, you have a back. You're going against a team that doesn't have a striker, and then you play 3 centre halves against no
striker.
fixed striker. So for the whole game, they're thinking, I don't even know who I'm supposed to be marking because everyone's just going.
Yeah,
that's just career suicide.
And do you know what Pep does perfectly is he almost turns it into like rondo sessions in your own box, where the 6 men are just rotating amongst each other, taking turns who goes up front. And I think what you said as well is when Pep figures it out, he unleashes the shackles off the fullbacks as well. Something that you preach big time with the AFs, the attacking fullbacks.
It's funny.
Brandon coming
Wait, hold on. I just got over looking. But
I think there was like a stat though where it said like them two had the most touches, and I think Walker
they had
was
more
trying
touches
to
than Cancelo had more touches than McTominay and Fred put together.
Yeah, but that's no surprise because
of the way they play.
First and foremost as well is the way Man United are. Our wing backs are not wing backs. They're not used to that. So as we saw, like sometimes somebody can go and press, they don't understand. They ain't coached in that way. So it's not like where Tuchel, for example, hasn't. You guys are well drilled in it. So if Cancelo does get the ball, Reece James is right up upon, say it's Reece James or whoever, or if it's Alonso to Kyle Walker, like they know how to do it. Whereas Man United, they don't know how to do it.
Then
so
they haven't got the
City,
familiarity.
Bro, listen,
the game because the game's gone. And I don't want to go too far. I mean, what you're leading into is Michael Owen's comments basically. Your opinion on that, and then we'll go to the rest of the pundits because
you have to repeat the comments.
So Michael Owen's comments were essentially saying that basically what Ollie does is instead of like weeding out the weak players, he just sees a weakness, then adds another body next to it instead of actually changing anything and actually tactically doing anything different, which is why you guys went to the 5 at the back.
And it's not only that. To double back, to piggyback on that, that's how McFred came about. That is how McFred came about because Ollie saw it in a way as in, okay, we've got, let's say, Paul Pogba, whoever it is, where we leak goals, we're defensively not solid. Let me put McFred, who it's basically 2 midfielders to do one job because he's trying to cover weaknesses with this personnel. And it's the same thing. Stumbled across the 3-5-2 against Tottenham, who Tottenham, mate, they probably were packing
they were food
behind the scenes while the game was going on. So that didn't matter. So but it's funny because you knew Ollie would go on and think, oh, I fell into goal mine, and it doesn't help when the media are all saying, you know, they were much better in this game, and this is what they done against Højbjerg, and this is bruv. Everyone can see this is not going to be sustainable. This is not going to go on because, as we said, Ollie did not set this Man United team up to not. Listen, one part of the pitch where Man United are stacked is width. No wingers play anymore. The part of the pitch that we're dead, defenders.
Bare man's playing.
That's not the vision of the team that Ollie had when he took this Man United team. So, yeah.
And that got highlighted yesterday because you saw even Foden I thought in the first half, Wan-Bissaka was probably maybe getting the better of Foden, but he just grew in that. And then as Cancelo bombs on, they were just double teaming him.
I didn't think Wan-Bissaka had a grip of Foden at all in that
No, there was moments in recovery challenges, I'll say, where I thought, yo, he ain't going to be beaten today type of thing. He's going to have him. But then once the Cancelo double up, and Pep, I think that's one thing he does. It's out wide now. He almost forms these triangles like I was saying, Klopp does it with it's flank or bust almost.
Bro, that's what. But the thing is, it's funny because I know we'll talk about Pep, but with City, I've been doing that from day before. Do you remember the collar of David Silva Nasri left hand side? They used to do that all the time. What they'll do is they'll just overload you on that side and they'll get their fullback in. They play
City
or someone.
City plays softer ball, innit? They've always played softer ball.
Like Wan-Bissaka would have loved to play against Sterling today. No disrespect to Sterling because Sterling's a player that's going to get the ball. I want to take you on. And Wan-Bissaka, that's food and drink for him. But when you get someone like Foden who doesn't want to do that, if he's going to do it, he might do a 1-2, or he's going to pop up on the left, he's going to drop in, he might run in behind, he's going to hug the touchline.
Bro, that's what I was seeing yesterday, and I'm like, Foden don't normally do that, bro.
He makes you think, and Wan-Bissaka, after about 60 minutes, looked dead he looked dead tired, and then Foden started actually beating him 1v1.
He's a combative footballer. He wants everything has to be like, same thing when you were talking about Bailly not being your type of defender. Do you know everything has to be combat, as in like me versus you, bam. It's the complete opposite of like a VVD who's like, I'm not getting engaged, I'm just jockeying, and we're gonna go into him anyway.
It's good for Cancelo, like just to touch on Cancelo, like it's good for Cancelo to play with these type of, and again, this isn't a diss to Sterling or anyone. If they had somebody that was a 1v1 type of player, Cancelo's influence wouldn't be as much. But when you get Foden or Grealish or whoever, I know Grealish ain't playing great this season, he's not. But he allows Cancelo to get beyond him and stuff, and he allows it. But when you have like a Sterling who's trying to get in behind all the time, Cancelo as much as he could play on the left-hand side last season, you're seeing how much his influence is growing and growing and growing when he's playing with these
Do you
inside
think that is
forwards
because
on the
he's such a supreme footballer, or do you think that's because it's similarly to like he's breaking a mold with like how the inverted winger started? Oh, you start to see, oh shit, you can impact the game from there. If a fullback is technically sound enough, do you think they can replicate that?
I think so. You've seen obviously the best example is Lahm was a right-footed left back. His whole career,
he was even more defensive.
Well.
I would have said.
What you say?
He wasn't even as much of an attacking threat. Cancelo's almost like an extra tool in Pep's toolbox.
But
I think he's just such a good.
It's Pep's evolution of what he does. Like, again, I think I tweeted, it's like Kyle Walker said yesterday, you know what? I'm going to make you man remember that I was bumming forward and stuff before. He's very linear with his stuff.
His best Trent
but he was exactly, and it's nothing new for those sort of teams where I think we said it maybe last season that Pep's making his fullbacks playing centre mid. He's making them clock at centre mid. So with Cancelo, when you've got a really good footballer that's learnt the system, because we didn't start straight away, learnt the system, then realised that, okay, you know what, I can add impact. You're going to get that. And again, it's credit to how Pep's brought him into the team. Same thing with Rodri. Rodri, we don't speak a lot about the Rodri stuff, but again, I'll say it again, Rodri just looks seamless now. We don't talk about Fernandinho.
Probably their most important player.
We don't talk about Fernandinho.
You know, it was a funny stat yesterday though that I noticed. Pep didn't use no subs at all in the Premier League game. I don't know when the last time I saw that.
It's a training ground game.
And the thing is, it's in the biggest derby game.
He put that on as if
in the biggest derby game. I'm just thinking, when you spent 100 mil on a marquee signing, headband man, where are you?
No, I never got that.
Where are you?
Oh shit, I didn't.
That's
get that.
Headband man, where are you?
That's funny.
Even when the game is wrapped, signed training ground match, you said man can't even get garbage minutes.
Hey, no subs,
what's going on?
That's
no,
funny.
no subs, bro.
Hey,
But
you know what?
listen,
Shake
the
my
thing
hand.
is, I didn't
know what was going on.
That went over my head.
That was funny. That was funny.
I was like, I thought like YouTube, you know what I mean? Like you just putting it on. I didn't get what you were busting up, but I thought you were busting on that.
That's
a good
funny.
One still. Nah, but
funny.
to be fair though, like I'm just gonna touch on this real quick though. Like you look at all of Pep Guardiola's signings in attack, they've all gone through this period which you call the reprogramming period. The only difference is with Grealish is that he's actually, usually Pep will give you like 1 game, 2 games, drop you. You don't see that guy for 6-7 weeks. You're like, where's Donny? Even with Cancelo, and we're all bigging him up now. You're like, where's Donny? And I think that's the same thing that's with the difference is Grealish was playing, and it was like, okay, you started all right, then it started getting mid. After PSG, it started getting dead. Yeah. Then, so I think he's going to go through that process where it's like, because after the game, Pep always talks about, I love him, but he needs to do this, but he needs to do that. And you don't really see Pep say anything about anyone else anymore, as in that he needs to do this, he needs to do that. But with him, he says, I need him to be more selfish in the box. Shoot, believe in yourself, get in the box. So these type of things are going to be things that he's going to be drilling into him. And listen, the thing about Pep is he's a teacher. He teaches you football, bro. He teaches you football. I think it was Ian Robin said he taught me different of like how to play football. Yeah. So Grealish is going to go through that. And it's not only that, he's going from 1 game a week to now potentially 3 games a week. The pressures of the club. Yeah. Foden looking at you like, hold on, I want to play. KDB playing. So now it's going to be a thing as in, I need to really... You're going from the main man to 1 of 6, for example, in your position. So now he's going to have to dig deep on this. And I think you might not see the best of him this season, potentially. I think he's now going to start going through that. Because
that's what this season basically essentially will be. It'll be the training, because you've had Mahrez go through this, you've had Cancelo go through.
I don't.
Rodri,
who is the City player?
Sterling
in recent times that just hit the ground.
That came in and said, "All right, I'm here."
Right, PFA,
and
Ederson.
But there's been a couple that have come in straight away, but there's always that is, especially I think for the more forward players as well. Even Sane, I think, had to adapt a bit.
First season, Sane was getting called a flop. Next season, he won the Young Player of the Year.
So I get that, but for me, it's when I see like Foden coming back off the Euros, because he started off slow as well, and now he's picking up form.
No, Foden was injured. As soon as Foden started playing,
was he injured? Okay.
So
then now I'm seeing him grow.
Stones is only started playing because he wasn't.
Let's be honest, this season Bernardo's looking recovered, bro, resurgent.
So we're not wanting to leave.
Blood sacrifice.
Listen, this is all calm, and like we can stay and see it for a long time, but ultimately, because we didn't get to cover it, so when it happened, Conte
We'll come
joined.
back to Grealish anyway.
Nah,
Conte
I need to
joined
talk
throughout
about
the
Spurs.
season.
No, we're gonna
Throughout
go
the
to that.
season,
But
we'll come back to him.
Conte joined Spurs. We've also seen some more resignations within the Premier League. The thing for me that started this weekend was the conversation about Ole and United legends having loads of conversations, but it was Michael Richards that was the only one making sense.
You're going.
I'm gonna let you take the floor because what is when you're a United fan watching United legends not say what everyone's thinking? What's that like?
You know what? Like, now I always say to people, you gotta take what the United legends say about Ole with a pinch of salt. You can't take it serious. I was seeing people say, "Oh, Roy Keane is such a realist," because he said, "If I was in there, I'll grab Ole and tell Ole, why are you playing Fred?" Does he think Fred is the issue with the whole of Manchester United? Fred didn't play against Leicester, by the way. We got smoked 4-2. So if that's the only thing you'll say to Ole, then I don't want to listen to you. I love Roy Keane, best captain we've had, whatever. But there's a clear bias there. If there was a clear bias with you, I would not ask you much about Chelsea. If there was a clear bias with you, I would not ask you much about Tottenham. They have a clear bias, and that's only because you guys support the football club. That is their boy. If you got a job, I would probably not myself go on TV and say, get rid of them. I probably wouldn't, because you're my boys. Why would I do that? What? I'm going to call you after just digging you on TV and be like, what are you saying, bro? I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
See what I said? Yeah, it's just for TV.
I understand why they don't dig out and why they don't say it, but don't try and act impartial and don't try and divert all the time. I'm not saying, no, like Gary Neville said, Micah, would you tell someone sack? That's unprofessional. Michael Richards is not going to go on TV and say, sack this man.
He still held it down, though.
You can say, do you think this man is right for the job? Do you think he's doing a good enough job? Don't start trying to divert it to this player, that player. Van de Beek, he's not worth 40 million.
Bro.
But don't do all of that. Be truthful. And that's the thing about Man United legends. For me, they're poisoning. They're poisoning the media, bro. When it comes to Man United, I'd rather listen to Owen, Carragher, Micah Richards, all these guys than Man United players.
Pause there quickly. Do you know why this is so funny? Because remember a few seasons ago, he said that Liverpool were corrupting the media. And now,
I didn't say that.
you did.
You said
you were
there
like
was
Liverpool double legends that they're corrupting. Yeah.
What was going on with Liverpool when I said, because they were trying to say they're the best team ever. Allow it, yeah, they were getting too gassed. But honestly, people.
Owen spoke his truth, and I guess it's because he's Liverpool more than Manchester. So that I'm going to speak his truth. Marcus spoke his truth because it's like I'm outside looking in. Why are you guys not as angry?
It's because everyone grew up. We all grew up with Manchester United as the best team in England. That's what we grew up with. These guys were obviously part of it, but watching it, Michael Richards growing up would have been envious of United. Carragher would have been envious. So these guys know the standards of what Man United were. So they're like, hold on, Man United not doing this. And the guys that were actually part of it, they know it too. But they can't say it because that's their boy on. So it's like, stop asking them.
Nobody's asking them for them to sit there and say, sack the man. It's just call it out and be truthful. And I'll tell you why. Because they do the same thing. Like, I'll give you an example. Jose Mourinho. When he's got any manager job in England, the way the media hound him out and the way they all sit there breaking down, he's not doing this. I don't see that same energy for Ole. But then when Jose's away with the media or in another country, they're like, we miss him in the Premier League. So they have their own way of doing it. So nobody's sitting there saying, go ask for Ole to be sacked. But be truthful in your analysis, bro.
This is what I mean.
Be honest.
And the thing
Ole's getting away scotch-free, you know? And so many things.
Go, exactly, like you walk away from the game talking about Roy Keane is such a real. Listen to what he said about Fred. Listen to what he said about Maguire. Listen to what he said about Shaw. All right, but what did you say about Ole? Oh, what you said about Ole was minuscule. You didn't say anything really. You just danced around it. And you see, that's why they get angry, bro. That's why Gary Neville's trying to call out Micah. That's why Roy Keane looks like he's about to swear on TV. Because they get hot when you press them about their boy.
Real issues.
It's simple as if you're biased, I don't want to hear from you about that situation.
Was attacking Wan-Bissaka like I don't even know what Wan-Bissaka did to, but the way he was going after this, I was like, bro, why was he in that position? Like talk about the root cause. And the reason why I brought it up is because that whole El Sakako thing and Conte going seemed like a major shift for United fans. United fans that were speaking online were saying stuff like, so how are we going to get any good manager now? All the good managers are gone. They were saying that with the whole Rodgers rumours, like some were saying that it's great, some say it's not great. I'll start with you. How are you feeling with Conte coming in? Like, what is the expectations? I know it's only been 2 games, it's been a week. What are the expectations, short term and long term? And I guess when we come back to you, it's essentially going to be, where do you go from here? Because Conte, that's it. You had that one chance, it's gone.
How do I feel?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Sensational. Honestly, I as I said, on my YouTube channel, I just want to say, Man United as a club, institution, fan base, we thank you. We thank you for that loss last week, because it saved Ollie his job and it confirmed Nuno. Where I was sitting here last week, I was like, I think he might stay until January. Out the door. And then we get world-class manager through the door, one of the best in the world. What you're saying short-term, targets, what we thinking? First things first, implement your identity. We know what Conte is, and in the first 2 games, you've seen it already. He said, 3 at the back, I ain't fucking around with it. And with Nuno, that was an issue I had with him as well. I was like, yo, you're actually a 3 at the back guy. I don't understand why you're not doing it when you've got the pieces there. So Conte's shown it in these first 2 games. I think the first half hour, it's like, yo, Conte might do something here. But then default factory settings kick in, and it's like, there's a lot of work still to be done here. Yeah. So I think get his identity, find your personnel, because I feel like January coming up is going to be key, but then also he's going to have a big summer, and he's got this whole season to judge who can fit my system and who can't.
I was going to ask you about
guys
January.
like Victor Moses. You remember all them guys who?
Yeah.
You can work in this system.
A young Adama right wing back.
You never know, bro. You never know. So for me, those will be the 2 key things. Find your system, find your personnel, bruv. And then, obviously, people will say, oh, can he win a cup? Can he? Just get top 6 this year.
That's where I disagree.
I disagree. What? Because United are faltering.
No,
West Ham are there. Leicester are there. We're not involved. We're not involved. We're not involved in top 4. We're not involved in top 4. We're not involved in top 4. Top 6 is the focus. Top 6 is the target. We finished where last year? 7th?
The way I see it, yeah.
1 step above.
18-month contract.
You going on like you guys finished 11th.
The way I see it, yeah. 18-month contract, 20 mil on the table, experience winner.
Well,
we tried
15 mil. Get the numbers right.
Either
I
way,
heard it's 20 mil.
Real talk.
Euros?
Goal
Euros.
Goal sources told me it was 20.
Listen,
you know what it was. Why did you tweet 20? Flipping big check, big reputation. We didn't get you in summer. We're getting you now. We're making a move now to give you enough time. I genuinely feel, because he's come out and said this is a competition we want to win about the Conference League.
Yeah. Oh, no. Conference League and Carabao, I think he will go for a serious
100% Carabao. Yeah. You guys have got
City
West
are
Ham,
out, which has kind of given us a little breathing
you guys
space.
got West Ham. West Ham are
Chelsea,
top form.
West Ham,
but
there's still some tough teams.
But I mean, he would definitely be winning, because again, the only way you change the mentality is by making something new happen. If you win a trophy, it's like, hold on, the curse is over. We can move forward. So for me, in my head, he's definitely coming and thinking, you fuckers are gonna win something. Yeah, that's how I see it. I don't even see the whole top 6. He's going to win something.
If Roma are fumbling about as well, slip up in the Conference League.
Roma ain't messed, man.
They're the only other realistic team in that Conference League that I can see kind of stopping us. But it'll be interesting, because I think if he does win the Conference League, wins the Carabao, gets top 6, bro, fantastic season. You've gone above.
He wouldn't want to start his whole new reign in the Europa League, or you know what I'm trying to say. Like, I know you're saying top 6 is the aim, but I feel like there's still, United are falling. West Ham are doing their thing, but we'll see how it goes on and whatever. But there's somebody that's capitalizing on Man United falling. Yeah. That could easily be Spurs potentially.
That could be us. Yeah. So I just don't think. I look at this squad, and I don't think we have the quality to throughout the season be that consistently up there. I think maybe if we sneak it in some way somehow,
with a good manager, that someone that's a good manager can maximize that. Because don't get me wrong, I get you need the tools. But that's why good managers are great managers, right? Because they're able to extrapolate everything they need to just to get you somewhere.
I've seen 3 different managers come and go in the last 2 years to try and get the best out of these players, and there have been new manager bounces, and then it's almost always back to default settings, bro.
I'll ask you this, and it's not because of where Jose is at the moment, how everyone's speaking them, but where does Jose compare to Antonio Conte in today's world?
I don't know, to be honest. I would say they're neck and neck. Like,
really?
Like, what prime Jose would have brought you is what I feel like prime Conte is bringing you. But Conte maybe doesn't have the Champions Leagues to go with.
No, but I'm saying as managers right now, because you're saying that the 2 managers you
like
had
Conte is a step up, because you're getting Conte in his prime right now. So you wasn't getting Jose in his prime. So for me, it's like, But you have to eyes are on the board now for me.
Yeah.
This is the bigger issue. I don't even think the pressure is going to be on Conte. This 18-month contract is for him to see.
It's like the
is
Tuchel
this board
contract.
ambitious enough?
It's the Tuchel contract.
Are you actually going to back
come
me
in,
and
do something, and then
'cause
once I've
Tuchel
proved
can-
myself, can you back me
Facts.
afterwards?
There you
I
go,
feel
bro.
ultimately the buck stops with Harry Kane, bro. The buck stops with Harry Kane. If Harry Kane turns up, Spurs can potentially
You
have
know
a
what?
good season.
I thought you was going to go agenda way,
nah.
but I hear you. I hear you.
If the buck stops with Harry Kane, if Harry Kane can have a good season, then Spurs can do something. If Harry Kane continues playing like how he's playing,
Agreed.
then Spurs will do nothing.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. You guys didn't have a shot on target today. If Kane, I don't know, listen, they've given a new manager now. They've given everything. You're tied into this deal. There's nothing you can do about it. Stop sulking and perform. I watched today. Kane doesn't even look a threat. Doesn't even like you would not think this is meant to be one of the best strikers in the world. If he turns up, we've seen Kane win games for Spurs many times. We've seen when Spurs were at the end of Pochettino, it was getting dead. Kane was still scoring. Jose, it's dead. Kane is still scoring. Just do that for Conte, and Conte is a good enough manager to get Spurs where they need to get to.
I think Conte being the man manager that he is, the motivator that he is, I think he is primed to get the best.
First thing he needs to
Oh,
do, bro.
that's-
He should
tell you
do
what,
Yes, I agree with that as well. Yeah,
I've got opposite. Though.
as well as implement your system and all of that, get the best out of Kane.
I've got an opposite. I've got an opposite.
Go on.
Because I've seen Conte also tell Diego Costa to fuck off.
Yeah,
but then
after
he
winning him
also-
a league.
No.
But exactly,
no,
I was gonna
I
say
hear you. I hear you.
what he's
Coming
done
back
with
overweight.
what
I hear
he's done
you.
with.
Kane won't-
No,
Bruh,
I
he
hear
was
you.
not trying to
I
hear
hear
that,
you.
man.
I hear you.
Costa
No,
at
no.
that point,
Madness.
Costa at
I
that point
hear
had
you.
won 2 Premier Leagues. He thought he was the big
No,
dog.
no.
He really thought he was the next Drogba.
No,
And
but
Conte
no,
said, "Fuck off."
but if you break,
Fuck off.
but if you
Who
break
are
it down, for words, it was literally even now it's the same things. I'm reminiscing. Fight. I want people that are gonna fight for me. You don't want to fight, sod off.
And
So
listen,
the
I
thing is,
reckon-
it won't. When we were talking about Nuno, about what's it called? Kane only got dropped once or something like that.
But I would say the difference between
I know.
Costa-
I'm not saying that it's gonna happen. I'm just saying that it wouldn't surprise.
Chelsea has
Conte's
the
not the type of
flexibility to
person.
replace
No,
him.
I get
No,
what
no,
you're saying.
but
He's
Conte's not the type of
75
person that
million
will shut.
passengers with him.
Exactly.
I understand that, but the only reason why I'll say it's different is that I think with Costa, this is Chelsea, by the way, revolving door.
Yeah. We can get someone in. It's easy.
This is arguably Spurs' greatest ever player.
Yeah.
This is their vice captain. Daniel Levy will be saying to Conte, do whatever it takes to get the best out of this man, bro. Do whatever, because
100%.
one, for business sake, even if he is going to sell him, he needs Kane firing, bro. He doesn't need Kane like this. And for success, hope.
What you're saying-
you need
You're
Harry
right,
Kane.
but I
What
think
you're saying-
you're
no,
right.
no, no,
But I
no,
think
wait,
I think
When
two
Jose
things can
Mourinho-
coexist.
When Jose Mourinho, first thing he did when he came, not first thing, but when he came to Spurs, we saw on the documentary.
I'm gonna make you explode.
Spoke
Pause.
to Kane.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blah, 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 I'm gonna
Yeah.
make you whatever.
Gonna
Kane did his
explode.
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gonna make
Yeah.
you explode.
Yeah.
And Dele, but Dele, he
We don't talk
helped him.
about that. We don't talk about
But Lukaku, he came as a wounded man to Inter Milan. Conte got his arm around him, made him whatever he is. Now he's at Chelsea. He's getting Kane in the same position, not necessarily the same position as Lukaku,
I'm not
but he's
even-
getting
bro,
a striker of
I'm
that
not even
quality.
disagreeing.
Even club-wise,
You're both
when he
right.
took over Chelsea, when he took over Inter, they were damaged properties.
Yeah,
almost.
damaged goods.
I'm not
This
even
is
disagreeing. I'm
Conte's
just
used to
saying.
walking into
Remember,
these
it can
situations.
always go both ways, and the type of profile man
What you're
he
saying
is,
though is right.
he is man enough to
He
say, you
won't
know what?
tolerate
I
bullshit.
don't care. I
We
don't
won't tolerate
care.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But we will not.
He would
are
try,
not-
of course.
We
Yeah,
are not
yeah.
in a luxurious position enough to
Yeah,
drop
there's no
Kane
Vinicius.
and also
Vinicius
sell
type
him
never-
and then say, hey, you know what? We're gonna go get Morata.
You know
for
what?
75 mil or
I
whatever.
also think like when just through the DNA of Spurs and the way your players are, I actually think at Chelsea dropping a Costa in front of everyone,
It gets you
will
hyped
get
up.
the- I
Yeah.
actually do not think if he went to Kane,
The
and said,
characters are
you're
not
not
there."
my guy. I think the team will crumble, bro. I don't think Spurs characters are built
Because
like that
them
to
man
be
will be
like,
thinking,
yeah,
they'll be
let's fight through
thinking,
this.
what
I
if you don't think he's good? What do you think about us?
I think it's just not a Spurs DNA, bro, to be
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
I hear
It's
it.
just not-
I hear
it's
it.
I just don't see
I
it.
just know what from seeing him.
Look
I
when
know
Jose
what
did it at
Conte's like.
United. We ain't got that character no more. Dropped Pogba. They all them collapsed.
The
They
problem is
collapsed.
as well, I feel like under Jose, the players, if they would have down tools or whatever, they might have, because they would have thought, oh, you know what, maybe he's past his best because of the situation. You know, with Conte, they're not in a situation to do that. So he can go to leather and hell with these players, and they have to work for him, for me, in this situation. And the board have to do everything in their power to make sure this man's successful. If Conte is not successful at this club,
It's
it
not him,
solely
it's
lies
the
with the board.
I hear it.
You do not look a gift horse in the mouth
Can I ask you a question? What is success for Conte at Spurs?
Winning silverware, any form, any kind, and then getting us back to Champions League places.
That's what I said.
Real talk.
Within the time
within the timeline, of course. Yeah. Yeah, and I imagine if he does achieve some of those targets, it will obviously be extended or whatever. Because today he was talking about, I'm at the right club. Hey, I never said it. I'm just quoting.
But you know what you mentioned about the whole Champions League thing? The reason why I don't fully agree is because I've seen him in the Europa with Inter, Conte. Like I genuinely feel on that point, I feel like if he's in a place where he feels like he's building something and he's got that family and they all want to fight, he wouldn't mind not being in the Champions League because him, it's like, if I'm the guy that makes this team successful, then
I'm just saying. I just don't think like when you're first year in, you want to be in the Europa.
But the thing is, I think he knows how far off we are naturally of those places. So even a Europa League is a step forward. That's how I would see it. It's progression. So as long as he's seeing progression, for me, it's not an issue.
But we're being around the bush, though. We're being around the bush. The manager went that way. What happens with United now? Because I'm hearing Rodgers. I'm hearing Rafnik.
No, they're twerking for Ten Hag right now on the internet.
I'm hearing Ten Hag.
For me,
they're taking.
I'm hearing Carrick interim.
Yeah.
Oh whoa.
For me,
I'm hearing bare stuff.
I said for me, if it's Conte, I said it's Conte or bust. Bring whoever in is bust. So it's for me. Conte was there
today.
I'm telling you, Conte was there. You will never have a better through ball for a manager. Conte was right there waiting for this. This team is primed for a Conte type manager with the personnel we have. You look at Ten Hag, I think he's a really good manager. I like what he's doing at Ajax. I like watching them.
I think he's more suited to...
He's gonna come into us. He's gonna look at McFred. He's gonna look at these Wan-Bissaka and these dons and be I need to revamp this whole team. Conte, I just don't think it's gonna be like that. I just think if he comes in, he's going to look at some of these players. And I've always said, I don't think the technical security of Man United's team is that high.
Bro, so
he's going to He's going to come in. He's going to revamp. Conte, for me, is the only one that would have come in, looked to this squad, and been like, maybe I need to get a DM in or something, and I'm going to go and try and win with this.
Okay,
every other manager, Brendan Rodgers, Poch, listen, I think you guys are good managers. But do I see them knocking Pep, Klopp, and Tuchel off their perch? Nah, sorry. Only Conte.
The reason why the Ten Hag one was the only reason why the Ten Hag that comment was interesting is because
it's the truth.
Like to us, I know it's only been in the Eredivisie and in Europe and whatnot, but to a certain extent, and you can probably speak to this, I've seen Ten Hag have to sort of rebuild his team when everyone got taken.
He loses a star player every year,
more than one, and then he's come back. He's bring players through. He's like even signing like Haller, like everyone was like, "What's he doing?" That he's managed to sort of operate and revamp. So maybe United are looking at it and thinking, we need that sort of revamp. But what you're saying about Conte is so true. This is supposed to do was a revamp. Yeah,
this thing that we just built with Oli was a revamp. Yeah. Now there's no way you're trying to tell me now Oli's done. Now we have to do another rebuild. When is the success gonna come?
Oli was meant to be the rebuild bridge. The final destination was meant to be Conte. That's how it's supposed to be.
That is how it was meant to be. And the thing is, people think about long term so much they ignore the short term. The short term builds to long term. It's not just let's do nothing.
It's building blocks.
Exactly.
You drew with Atlanta. You've lost the derby now. So basically, he's held on to his job purely off a Spurs win. A Spurs that was ready to be killed and eaten and dead.
But wait, there's more. Because we've seen an example in the Premier League of a team that said, listen, you got your win, but thank you for your services. F off. How can Norwich be in a space where they're saying, you know what? Even though it looks all great,
service, we love what you've done for us.
Listen,
you're a legend.
You take your W and walk into the sunset. We're going to do what I need to do. When I saw that people are like, Norwich are bad man, I said no.
They should have done that with the 3-0 win.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you for the win.
Norwich did the right thing. It's like, you know what? It's cool, but it's the end of the road. No boys to men.
An international break now. Now I would have expected some noise at least.
The issue is now with this managerial search is that now every manager that's out there, no manager matches style and success out there now. Now Man United are looking at it, and you can say Ten Hag. All right, he's won a couple.
There's only one manager.
There's Zidane out there, but Zidane doesn't want to come to Premier League. So let's forget about Zidane.
For me, there's two managers.
Pochettino, he's not a winner. Brendan Rodgers, okay, he won the FA Cup, but he's not a winner. Ten Hag, he's won the Dutch leagues, but he's not necessarily Dutch league. Listen, I'm sorry. A lot of people go to Ajax and win the Dutch league. It's the truth, though. There's no manager now that ticks both boxes.
I've got 2 managers, and again, people won't like it, but for me, Valverde and Enrique.
Valverde was dead at Barcelona. They ran him out for a reason.
No. But he was. They were. No, I'm saying no. He was terrible at Barcelona. They were not conceded.
Won the title hype.
They were not. As in, when I look at United, they were not conceded, and it was like, yeah, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty.
Brown at this football club.
I'm just trying to look at profiles. Enrique and Valverde are the only 2 for me.
I'm plugging for Enrique.
No. For me, it's 2.
Forget Valverde.
Those 2. Because you guys, yeah.
Valverde.
Because I'm saying off of when he was at Barca.
Tata Martino from 2014 as well. Flipping hell, bro.
Bro, you can't say that.
Valverde.
He doesn't even know, does he?
I said Tata.
No, you're talking about Tito Villanova. No, not Tito Villanova.
I thought you were playing it. I thought you were playing it. No, the reason why I said it is because even when everything changed,
he looked like Bielsa. So he looked a little bit like him, innit?
When everything changed, he came in with this thing and it was like, we're not going to concede. It wasn't pretty, and yeah, he got run out eventually. But it was like
Enrique's a good shout though.
Enrique's not a winner, but again,
I think Enrique's a good shout. He's shown he can handle big egos. Has shown he can work with lesser squad at Spain and actually back-to-back semi-finals.
I can hear Enrique. I didn't mention like Enrique and Mancini because they're currently got jobs.
But that's the thing. You need to pull them away from jobs that they're comfortable at.
The pool is not great. Conte was there.
What did you think about the Rafa thing?
I'll give 40 million. Let's get to Diego Simeone. I don't care about United DNA, bro. But anyway, what'd you say?
You said 40 million to Simeone.
I'll do anything to get Simeone.
You see what I'm saying?
You're mad. I don't care, bro. Simeone, bro.
You would take Simeone?
Of course I'll take
Man
Simeone.
said, bring the dark cards.
I'm United DNA hype.
I respect.
Bro, we ain't got a DNA,
I respect levels of you have just gone up, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Man said, fuck the DNA.
I hear it. I hear it.
DNA hype.
Hey.
Oh man, but listen, what else happened? We had flipping
Liverpool West Ham?
No. Before actually, let's go Liverpool West Ham, then we're going to Barca because there was a nice segue there. But go Liverpool West Ham. Are we opening a case on VVD? Is where I'm gonna start.
Nah, man, it's not yet.
I don't think so. I would say as much as I want to. I would say I thought out of the lot he was maybe. I said before the defensive lot. They were all poor today. I think.
I want you lot to open the case on something. I want it to be a season-long case.
Who's it on?
Best right back in the world because it keeps changing. Trent gets a free
that's
kick,
not a case.
then he gets killed in defence.
Cases
so
are.
how can you be the best right back
That's
in
an
the world?
investigation.
You
want an
Trent is
investigation.
one of the best right back in the world. Or Cancelo, they're the best players in the world. Let me tell you that right now. Let me not say that, but we moved. It's loaded.
Would you like to
anyway.
expand on that?
Man said, let's just enjoy both of them.
Yeah, is that, bro? Let's just enjoy both of them. You know what I mean? We're lucky. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. Hey, attacking fullbacks.
Let's just enjoy it. You're done.
Everything in football.
You're done.
With the right back one.
That was Sadio Mane's fault, by the way. Don't try and blame Trent. That was Mane's man. Not Zuma was Mane's man. Trent was not. That was not his man. That he should have been staying with.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, hold on, wait. I've got a question before we go to the right back one. Is Mendy the best goalkeeper in the league?
Who? No. What you want? Because you see, look how shameless Chelsea fans are.
I'm not being shameless. I'm not being shameless.
Come on and run.
I'm not being shameless. I'm not being shameless. I'm not being shameless because he was doing this last year as well. He was doing this last year as
Mendy's
well.
He's loading though.
Loading hype.
Loading.
Oh man, no. Let's talk about this game actually because I think we have to before we go into Liverpool. I want to credit West Ham because
how's
again,
KDB getting on this season quickly?
What?
How's KDB getting on?
Wait.
Yes, right. No, I'm just asking.
What's the meaning about this?
No, I'm just asking. How's he getting on?
He's doing fine.
Is he?
He's not really.
He's loading.
Pep's doing right.
He's loading.
Hey, he's put on a bit of weight, you know.
You man laughed at me in the group chat when I said this. We
Hello.
move.
Is he not 30?
Yeah, he's 30.
We say what metabolism.
Are we not allowed to metabolize?
I said we hype. We hype. I said we. I said he's over 30. I said are we not allowed?
You know.
Man, want to dig out.
I said age rates. I said first looking up for his age rates. Oh my gosh. Alright, cool. Hey, what's going into you, man? West Ham. Alright, cool. It was Moyes' 1001st Game.
Man I've been doing this from 019, fam. Man, no, I've been doing this from 019, bro. Shout out Dave.
There's a few things to take away here.
Been telling man from
A few things to take away here.
Justice for Moyes needed more time. Anyway, go on.
There is the whole thing of, you know, him finding what's great for him, taking him for relegation. We mentioned it's funny, we've built up to this because we've mentioned it a few times. There's the whole Declan Rice thing as well, because that thing came up of everything he's leading in rank wise. But let's go through the game. Talk about game management and actually, you know, carrying out a game plan and everything. You've got to respect what West Ham did.
The game plan West Ham had was just they stuck to it throughout, bro.
Regardless
of the result, regardless of the scoreline, the sitting back, absorb it, hit Antonio with the counter, it works. And you know, like when we talk about a team having an identity, West Ham know what they are. It's well drilled, it's well coached. That's why when Ollie does it for a 2-week spell, it doesn't look as fluid. It doesn't look as. But when you see West Ham, as soon as they lose the ball, them fullbacks, Kufal and them man, sprint back. Souček and Rice back in. And Rice this season.
Kufal at play.
Not
Ben
Kufal.
Johnson. Ben Johnson.
That's the one.
He's
sorry.
been immense.
Black.
No, he's black.
Ben
Johnson.
He's thinking about Friedrich.
Max Orange. He's thinking about Max Orange.
That's
Max
the
Orange.
one,
That's his way. Max Orange is his way. No.
Was that the ref that made that mistake?
Wait, he was sent off what? Gibbs and Chamberlain.
Gibbs and Chamberlain.
I don't know what's got into you,
over.
but
if a white person did that,
no, but
justice.
with West Ham, what the key word that always comes to me when I look at them is development. Like they're going from strength to strength. They're moving on. Listen, but the reason I'm saying it. Remember when they were saying that? They were saying that if Antonio doesn't score, what happens? If Antonio doesn't score, what happens? They're scoring bare from set pieces. I'm seeing Fornals and Bowen look like really good players in this system. Like each time they went forward, Liverpool were on the ropes. VVD looked like he was at the Grand National, just jogging his life away.
Bro,
it was
did you see
mental.
The way he was just jogging back?
It was mental. It was.
What's VVD's odds? I'm putting 18 to 1 for VVD. 18 to 1. I'm putting 18 to 1 on VVD. You might, he might win the Royal Ascot.
Both ways.
It's so mad. Like they're growing into it. And last season, people are like, not Lingard. Lingard goes, what happens?
And he's going to go back to them in January.
So, okay, cool. No Lingard, no problem. They look like they genuinely believe we are a European team now and we're going to keep pushing and we're going to be here. They're pushing on it. And it brings me to that Leicester point I said last week. If West Ham are like that, what does that mean for Leicester? If you're not pushing at that same rate. So
you know what it is though? You're gone.
I wouldn't worry too much about Leicester.
No, I'm not saying in general.
What I would say is I am surprised by how well they've been able to maintain it this year as well. With the added Europe as well. I didn't think they would be able to still in the league consistently. I think for me that was the kind of performance where I'm like, they're showing that this ain't a flash in the pan. We're here as like real deal top 6 challenge.
Yeah, and it, like what I like about them, is that it's funny, bruv. Like it's very reminiscent to his Everton teams, bro. Go back to his Everton teams. It's very reminiscent. He likes. First and foremost, he likes his players to be strong, bro. He likes strong football players. He's got a lot of strong football players out there. He's got Ben Rama. He's got Ben Rama. He's got Ben Rama doing the Pina, fam. He's got Ben Rama doing the Pina. He's got Cresswell doing the Baines.
Yeah.
He's got the wide man of Bowen. So what he's got, right, is 2 so-called magic
Leon
players.
Osman is his Bowen.
He's got 2 players that you can call the magic players in Fornals and Ben Rama. Other than that, everyone is stability, physical sides. Bro, when you play against West Ham, you just mentioned they score from set pieces. You got to be ready for a physical battle against them. You look at their pivot, Souček and Rice. Them 2 are within 5 yards of each other every single time. They're always within 5 yards of each other. That pivot, if you're talking about defensive stability, for me is the best in the Premier League because them 2, that's a real partnership. It's a real partnership. And then you look at the back 4. It's solid as well. I think West Ham are built in such a David Moyes image. Go back to even his teams in 04-05 with Gravison and them, man. It's the same thing, bro. And he's got that striker up there. He had it with James Beattie. Now he's got it with Antonio. He had it with, I don't remember who their striker was in Pina's days. I can't.
They had a young Yakubu. Yakubu was getting 19 goals in Premier League.
He has a man up there, and he has a man up there. He always builds his team on solidity, a man up there, couple flair players, if you want to call it. Everyone do their job. And it's simple, bro. They making the game look very simple. And they are making Uniteds and all these teams, when you look at them, like, why can't you guys do this? Why can't? I like when basic football is done properly.
But you know this as well. He plays his players' strengths. If we're gonna put it so simply, he plays his players' strengths. Antonio, I don't want you to do all of this. Just be there. Just be there. Rice,
4-5-1 when you're defending.
Rice, I get you can be a bit more expansive now. When you do it, let Souček sit. Like he just plays to the strength of the team.
It's one go, one sit.
I said,
you never,
Nico, Vini, Gundo.
Bro, how often do you see teams running beyond and you see Rice and Souček chasing?
You won't see them chasing.
Don't see that, fam.
They've done well, and he deserves
What was
credit.
Antonio's situation before Moyes came? Was he playing a number 9 as often as he is now? Obviously now he's seen as like a 9.
It was
but he was
weird
more of a
because
right winger, almost going right wing.
It depends on
back,
how
if
far
I'm not
back you go,
mistaken
because
at
remember
times.
they still had Arnautovic who was doing that from winger to thing, and then he was wide, and then he gradually was in the middle, but he became like the middleman under Moyes essentially.
Like,
but it
that's
was
coaching,
hybrid.
Though. When
it was
we
hybrid.
talk about coaching, that's coaching. Even like Rice, we say how many seasons now have we seen that development? This is coaching. Like you've got to give Moyes massive credit
this
for
is
that.
actually for West Ham. It's not for the Premier League.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
People are trying to manipulate.
Sorry, my bad.
But Rice, first in blocks for West Ham, yeah? First in blocks, first in interceptions, first in passing accuracy, first in possession one, first in successful passes, first in tackles. For me, you're talking about early player of the year. You're talking about Salah. For me, Declan Rice is in that conversation. You're talking about Salah, Declan Rice, Cancelo, and Trent. For me, those are the best 4 players in the Premier League at this very moment. I think Trent's been excellent.
No Mendy?
Who?
Mendy?
Yeah, but maybe. I'm just saying those are my 4 initial ones. For me. There could be other names. I don't know. You guys might have other names. You guys
Before we move on, who?
Reece James?
Boy, 4 goals, 3
not yet,
assists.
man. He's cooking. He's loading though. He's loading.
What? Who? Smith-Rowe?
Yeah.
4 goals, 3 assists. Reece James.
Come on, man. Attacking fullbacks. It's everything.
Listen,
Best thing about football.
I'm Liverpool. Let's quickly go Liverpool.
Attacking fullbacks.
Because we ain't got too much time. Liverpool, where did it go wrong? Production was talking about Salah ISO ball, not ISO in today.
Listen, when you're the best player in the world, you got the license to do that, man.
Listen, X Factor tendencies. I didn't say it's. I haven't crowned him yet. I haven't crowned him.
Who are you to be doing crownings?
Culture Camps, the X Factor overseer. I'm the X Factor overseer, bro. Tendencies. You know, every now and again you see someone hit a buzzer beater. Yeah, I mean,
listen,
every now and then somebody
Mane should have hit that buzzer
Are you
beater at the
regularly
end.
doing it? Is it daytime?
Mane should have hit that buzzer beater at the end.
Why am I
Mane
too?
high.
I'm trying to get
Mane
this thing.
high.
For me, it's just the same. It's the same as what Liverpool have been doing. Like they've actually been conceding. They're a lot more leaky than they usually are, and of course, I can't say it's the same because obviously they lost.
Are people going overboard?
they're a
Because it's the
little bit more
first,
leaky,
it's
though,
the
than
first one in
usual.
25 games, right? First, like,
Yeah.
Are
I
people
don't say
going
overboard. No one's saying it's like their season's over, but I think we've been seeing teams
There's been
getting in
signs.
behind, and then finally a team.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Capitalise
I
and won
think,
the game.
as I said earlier, I think it's a bit flank or bust for them. Where today we're seeing the Salah ISO ball maybe is not working. Trent, I think outside of kind of the free kick, he wasn't great defensively either. Robertson's another one's gone off the boil. I think going forward,
Bring
ineffective,
Tsimikas,
bruv. Ineffective. And
AF.
But do you know what it is for me though? Again, I don't want
well, I
to
say
go too far.
because their midfield,
They're
I just
missing-
think struggles to
I
control.
was going to say
games,
they missed a set. Remember we had the conversation. It's not be or end all, but they need a centre mid. It's becoming more and more evident.
Yeah.
Harvey
They're-
Elliott was
they're-
trying in there. He was trying in there, and we kind of we went
Thiago's been
past
out
it.
injured with calf injury. I know he only just
But
come
even
back
when we're
as
seeing
well.
Thiago, like I feel so bad for Thiago, yeah, because anytime I see him in the Premier League, I'm like, rah. I'm just like, rah, like you shouldn't. People shouldn't even be talking to you like
All
this.
I've seen is
but
just
it's
the buzz
like-
cut and thumbs up. That's all
You get
I've
me?
seen.
So like they are missing that centre mid.
I just think obviously they lost Ginny, who was
Yeah.
good for their press,
Yeah.
early press and stuff. Yeah, that's what it is.
Can I ask
yeah.
as well?
That's what I'm saying. Boy,
I
they're
saw a
missing
great
it.
question as well. Why was Henderson worthy of a new deal
Because he's the
at
skipper.
that age? Aside from obviously the skip, I'm talking actual footballing reasons on the pitch. But Ginny isn't.
Nothing.
Who offers more on the pitch?
Decisions
I
are
think
not
Ginny was
always
asking
footballing.
for a lot of money though, innit?
Was that the stumbling block?
Hendo go and
That's
just
what I'm
giving him
thinking.
the-
I'm thinking
Decisions
if-
are not always footballing, just purely footballing based. Though.
I would have thought the two you either keep both or it's kind of like I don't know. I don't
the way
see
you
how
think-
you
I think
prioritize one over the
Hendo's
other.
got the Premier League influence.
Yeah.
and all that type of stuff. I get it.
British,
I get it a little
English
And
bit.
then
hype,
future, you have to
bro.
think
English
future-wise.
hype.
They're probably thinking, you know what? Again, maybe because you got Curtis Jones coming in on these sort of people. Like, remember Liverpool?
They probably did.
They
think
don't
that, yeah.
always
Curtis Jones,
go
Keita
with-
coming back.
Exactly.
I think Ginny was good. I think Liverpool are not winning the ball as high up as they usually
Nope.
do. Bro. That's what I think. And now we're seeing Van Dijk and Matip, who
Have
are
to
usually
engage.
high press, now all of a sudden they're being exposed because them man could have played on the halfway line because Ginny, Hendo when he's fit is going to get it. Fabinho, Salah, Mane, everyone, Firmino who's great at pressing. They suffocate you, which allows Van Dijk and them lot. Trent and Robbo are going to be up. Van Dijk and them are going to be pushing. They're going to, that press is hell. But now the midfielder a little bit, Hendo's legs are not what they were. Thiago can't do what Ginny was doing with the press.
Milner's still getting loads of minutes.
Getting minutes.
But,
so
bro,
now you're starting to see teams break that first
even on
press.
the fullback thing. Remember when Robbo used to go on all the way up? And then people saying that Trent, and then people saying that Trent is not that defensive great. Okay, cool. So if you've got these two that are not operating from the defensive as well as the attacking bit, that's why today in that game we saw how many times you see Van Dijk running towards his goal.
Exactly.
Fam, this
because now he's at the halfway line and teams are beating their press.
Yep.
You have to run back towards your goal, bro. Before you didn't need to do that.
No.
So yeah, that's what it is. And now you're starting to see him look a little bit funny, but
you know what I'm saying?
We'll watch him for a couple more seasons.
Really quick one. What's our
World
thoughts
hype.
on Xavi? And the question I wanted to bring with Xavi is in terms of those big European teams. So I would say Man United, Barcelona, Juventus, AC, and Inter. What has been the biggest sort of fall for grace on the European sort of stage? Because Barcelona going to Xavi and sort of do this whole thing was, you know what, we need to start again. United, if we're looking at United where they were and where they are now, boy, Juve kind of I don't even know where Juve
Juve is still kind of there. They're ninth, are they? Yeah.
But I'm not just talking about this season. I'm just talking about in terms of where they were, where they went through, and where they're coming through.
Juve's one, for example, is like a domestic stranglehold. AC never really were a title-winning team.
Nah, they were flirting, but there was a time where they disappeared.
Barca's one, I think, is the worst because you look at it, it's like they not only redefined football for a period, let's be honest, they then went and did it again with the three-peat with MSN lot as well. That was only, 6 years ago? That's not that long ago, bro. If you really look at it, and then the decline since then, you've had to been forced into letting your greatest player ever go, bro. Like all the best players at your club have pretty much left. You've been in disaster transfer situations,
well.
Bro. It's been messy. So I would say their decline has probably been the worst. But with Xavi coming in now, I called this on Dos Locos like 2 months ago. I said this
2 months. Hype. It was the last Dos Locos, bro.
Where was it?
Man said 2 months ago.
It was 2 months ago.
It was like 3 weeks ago, bro.
No, it was longer.
It was
maybe
not
I'm
2
adding
months.
like an extra week or two. Let me get my dues, man.
Before we go on.
But I just think this is actually the perfect situation for him to walk in on. Yeah, with those other clubs, I still feel like they were trying to still be at that level. I think Barca have accepted because financially they can't be what they were. Koeman's even said it this season. We are not the team that can be competing for titles or Champions Leagues. He's coming in. He's got all the youths coming through now. Xavi is just rebuild and redesign in your vision, the Tiki-Taka vision, the Cruyff Guardiola vision. Bring that back.
I don't want this to sound mad here, but you see what you're saying about come in, bring the DNA. How dissimilar is that to
because Oli doesn't breathe it like Xavi does. Xavi lives.
No, but that's what they said.
He was the pinnacle.
Is that not what they said about Oli though?
Oli was a side piece to this DNA he's claimed.
You're right.
Xavi was the strings.
Fred, you are right. But what did they say? No. What Fred is saying is right. But what did they say about it? They said, he is the living, breathing embodiment of what Manchester is.
If that was going to be that, I would have wanted a Roy Keane or something. Let me say that free. But when you look at Xavi, I do agree in that respect. But when you say that, Barcelona actually do, as a club,
have a
follow
DNA.
Something. Man United, it's not a DNA.
We
had one manager that had something going. That's what I'm trying to tell people. But with Barcelona, that is the way they operate. So someone like him coming in, I saw some video of him coming on as a sub.
And tell him Guardiola.
To Pep.
Yeah.
And Pep was like, he was doing.
He
was giving Pep tactics. I was like, say that. I was like, young Xavi schooling Big Pep, you know. Let's see what happens. But bro, you're talking about one of the greatest players ever.
100%, one of the greatest footballing minds. And I guess what's
the
encouraging
is different.
What's encouraging is even when he went to, it was in Qatar, right? The way he made his team play football.
You didn't watch outside.
No. I went to go and watch. I went to go and watch clips.
You didn't watch outside. I love you. Didn't watch outside.
I went to go and watch clips.
No.
I went to go and watch clips.
Conte.
I went on goal. goal. I went on goal. I went on goal. So go.com. How Xavi has been playing out there. I said, this is what Xavi did. I said, rah. I said, this is what Xavi did. I went on go.com. I said, what's Coach Cam's up voice this one? I was looking. I said, okay, cool.
We're about to talk about Qatari League, you know. Yo, this
show's there. They start talking like, oh yeah, he's been doing this and been doing that. I said, really? Okay. Apparently, that's what he's doing out there. Let's see what it's about. It's not like Ollie. Where was Ollie before United?
Let's see.
Listen, he's going to have this whole season to kind of work his team, similar to Conte. You've got time this season to build your team, build your ethos, sort of, if you like, or whatever. Yeah,
foundation to build upon.
They ain't going to compete for the league this year. They're not competing for Champions League, let's be honest. So,
you see.
Season for
Champs
him,
and duds. Champs and duds. Because time's going.
We said no Chelsea talk.
Champ.
They dropped points. Let's see it.
They want to dodge that one, huh?
You see it.
International break, top of the league.
You know what?
Say too much.
Say less.
I was going to give Marco a champ.
Arsenal won it again.
Yep.
Guys are sleeping.
ESR free.
Arteta's cooking.
Hey, listen.
ESR.
He's turning into
He's trying to set them up. He's setting them up. He's setting them up for that Liverpool game. That he's just gonna
one game a week, as you said in the season. One game a week.
They got Liverpool. They got Liverpool after the national break.
Realities.
They got Liverpool after the international break.
They got Zambia.
Champs.
Zambi, Partey.
You did
Ben
not
White, Gabriel.
They're
coming, fam. They got this
don't
on
kill
lock.
me.
Hey, I can't lie. Partey got a fresh trim, yeah, and then got injured. They couldn't play.
Probably going Ghana in the park or something. I don't know.
You're dumb. Champs. Moyes, deservedly.
Moyes, definitely.
Micah for holding it down. He was speaking real. I would give him a champ.
This week?
Someone scored a mad goal.
I don't know who the champs are this week. Yeah, you gotta give it to West Ham, but
I was gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna give Rafinha a champ. You know, I like the way he's been bubbling along this season. Like he's just doing. He's playing for a move. He's
Crystal
actually
Palace
playing for a
won
move.
again.
Vieira,
Gallagher doing his thing. Zaha doing his thing. Vieira's doing his thing. Is it only 2 losses in 11 games for them? He's only lost 2. Chelsea and Liverpool.
And they've played a lot of teams, like top 8 teams.
It's bigger than football. It's bigger than football. You get me? That's what you said, isn't it?
Don't jump on the Palace bandwagon, bro. It was on this last year. Listen. Only you gotta come through me first. I hand out the catering.
Oh, because of Football Manager.
Listen,
Football
man,
Manager.
know about my Football Manager Palace file. Legendary.
Who are the duds? Have you got dud?
Who?
I work for the 3-3.
I can't believe that. Yeah.
Listen,
do you know who scored the third goal?
Chavi's coming, lads.
Yogo
I
Aspas.
thought it was a 96 minutes.
Oh wow.
Hey, champs and duds.
United.
It's got to be United. He's got one shot on target at home, getting schooled by your City rivals. Yeah.
I was saying a dud for
out the door, automatic dud.
I was saying a dud
That's how I
for
was
not taking it.
Spurs.
You know when your parents say take initiative. Like you said, Conte was there, and they didn't take initiative.
I'm trying to figure some champ. I saw someone. I saw something.
Oh, I want to give Mitro a champ.
I'll give my board for once.
I want to give Mitro a
some
champ.
Dues. They got me Conte, so I give him champ.
Hey, I want to give
Well done,
Mitrovic a champ, but I don't know because he will come to the Premier League and score like 2 goals.
Who?
But he's on 20 goals in November in the league.
Who?
Mitrovic.
What on earth is going on there? What's where the record is at 32 goals?
Listen,
What's the record
31.
Please.
31.
Ivan Toney get it last season.
Yeah.
Stop.
31.
Stop.
He should
We
get like
have these
40.
men who do this. They stat pad in the championship.
Yeah.
They come Premier League and they drown. I don't want to hear it.
Dave
He's
Nugent.
not getting champ for that.
Nugent.
Get out of here.
Nugent
Dwight
owns
Girl.
that.
Ebanks,
Nugent.
Blake, Michael Chopra, all them man.
Yeah.
Nah.
How many goals has Ivan Toney got this season?
Hey, Brentford
One.
themselves have been
Since Ryan-
slipping
since Ryan got-
slowly.
since Ryan got
We're
injured.
monitoring.
Uncomfortable
We're monitoring.
conversations.
Goalkeeper
I ain't
got
gonna
injured.
lie, that's
Hold on.
uncomfortable
Goalkeeper got
conversations.
injured.
Hold on.
Goalkeeper got injured and they said Sanchez is dud of the week.
That goal,
Yes.
goalie.
Yes.
Man just chipped him up.
Yeah.
And walked off the pitch. You know, I was like, "What is Donny doing, fam?" That was madness.
Oh my
still.
word. But yeah. What do you want to check?
Going on.
What do you
Nah,
want to check?
forget it.
Alright,
Don't
cool.
worry.
Listen, that's another episode. Like, share,
ESG without
subscribe.
number 30.
Calm.
The investigations.
Hey,
You've
listen.
made it out, bro. It's supposed to be
No,
covert.
No.
It's supposed to be covert.
I didn't even say names.
Alright, cool. So that
What,
one's
no Poch credit.
that's a covert mission. That one's.
Didn't even say names.
No one's there. You know the van on the side of the road. You're just
You know,
there
we're
drinking the
just
coffee.
driving past us.
That was there.
In the dark.
Bare man.
Driving past, yeah.
Bare
Stake
man
out.
at front.
Stake out.
You know when you're sitting in the same coffee shop.
That's what I'm saying. Bare man at night are fixing light bulbs, you know, just like fixing light bulbs by his house. Hey, that's another episode of Stoppage.
Hey,
Man's looking at me. that ready?
Hey, man's fixing light bulbs outside his house. That's funny.